Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Witcher, welcome back. Since we have had some troubles lately, finding the proper way to deal with all the quests we have, because it seems that almost every quest we had ran into some kind of corner, and we are not able to continue that much. I thought that would be the perfect time to actually get an episode going about... Wait a second. Just a second. Got an abandoned house here. Nothing... and no one in there, it seems. Aside from some beer, which we might be using for as a base for potions or anything else. So, I thought that might be the perfect time to actually do our lore episode. We have so much things going on. Locations, quests, monsters, which we can read about. I'm not gonna read the formula or ingredients or stuff like that, but we are going to read a little bit something of the glossary, and of course characters and locations. What I think we should start with is definitely the characters. Abigail, obviously the one which we did save in at the outskirts of Vizima and the romance of Geralt himself. A witch named Abigail lives in a village in the outskirts. Though the villagers buy herbs and potions from her, she also faces much hostility. The Reverend informed the congregation that Abigail had uttered the curse of the Hellhound at the witch, and the witch was surrounded by an angry mob. I decided that she didn't deserve to die and saved her from being lynched. Abigail left the outskirts for good. And we got Alvin, which seems to play a very important role, but we haven't seen him this chapter, so I don't know what's up with that. Maybe we will encounter him later, maybe not. A boy named Alvin managed to escape the Bargus attack, which cost his foster mother her life. As a result of the shock, he started to divine the future and utter the prophecy of Ithlin. I suppose Alvin is a source. He has magical powers he cannot control. Alvin lived with Abigail until the witch gave the boy to the Reverend. The preacher gave the orphan to a group of salamander thugs who demanded that the dwellers of the outskirts surrender their children. I killed the bandits and saved Alvin. Yeah. Only to leave him behind then. Azar Javed, our main villain it seems, of the game. The mage attacked Kaer Morhen in order to steal the witch's secrets hidden in the fortress. One of the leaders of the forces that attacked Kaer Morhen was a mage so powerful that even Triss Merigold could not oppose him. The organization that he leads uses the symbol of a salamander. The mysterious mage using the salamander symbol is a skilled alchemist who is researching mutation. The mysterious mage is Azar Javed, an exotic name suggesting that he comes from a distant place. The mage is in hiding, yet his influence extends over the whole of Vizima and possibly beyond. My adversary is a renegade mage. This means that for some reason he was expelled from the wizard's circle. In the past, renegade mages performed the witch's mutations. Okay, so he's very interested in getting those mutations for whatever reason. We don't know, probably power or anything. Then Berengar. Vesemir mentioned a witcher who had left Kaer Morhen before my arrival. His name is Berengar. Berengar was seen in the outskirts earlier. He agreed to kill the beast, but then disappeared. Did he fear facing the monster? Berengar remains one step ahead of me. He was in Vizima, where he was hired by Kalkstein the alchemist, just like me. The fact that we do not know how he looks is displayed here on this image by making his face dark. Carmen. I met Carmen, a prostitute from Vizima slums. All the locals Strumpets value her opinion, and it could be said that Carmen is their representative. Okay. Dandelion, obviously. I've heard rumors that the famous bard and poet Dandelion visited the outskirts. Did he not? Oh, yes, one of the bards told that. Yeah, maybe he is somewhere around here too, since we seem to have an image of him. He might even appear in the game, I hope so. Eskel, the calm and reasonable witcher, which I really like, from Kaer Morhen, is my peer. Wonder how he got that disfiguring scar. Funny story, he got this scar from, I think from his child surprise. If you don't know what that is, I'm doing a series on The Witcher sometime within the next weeks to explain some of the very special things in the world of The Witcher where the child surprise also counts. Basically, child surprise is that you help someone in need and you ask from them that which they have but do not know they have. Basically, it's you tell them that, and if they agree, and if the wife of the guy is pregnant or his girlfriend, then basically the child would belong to the guy who saved him, which is supposed to create some kind of line of destiny between those two. And at the same time, it's a good method for the witchers to get new witcher recruits, because obviously parents don't want to give away their children for witchers to become witchers, because the chance of them dying before while going through the mutations is very high, and that means in the process that the witchers don't have a lot of young men to recruit aside from orphans. And the child surprise is definitely the way to go. And a lot of witchers have some adopted, more or less adopted children out of a child surprise. Golan Vivaldi, a dwarf. Golan Vivaldi is a dwarf who's very touchy about his race. The Vivaldis are financiers, and one of their banks is located in Visima's trade quarter. The money for the professor's bail came from Vivaldi's bank. That's how the criminal walked free. Vivaldi lost control of the family business. There was a hostile takeover, and the bank is now controlled by human owners. That explains the dwarf's bitterness as well as his poverty. I unfairly suspected Vivaldi of financing Salamandra. The evidence indicates he is innocent. Heron Bog. Heron Bog is a suspicious character who fears only the Reverend. He sneers at the law and surrounds himself with thugs who protect his shady dealings. Broggs lived in the outskirts in a little lakeside settlement that he ruled outright. He never strayed far from his home. Brogg runs a store trading in weapons and alchemical ingredients used to produce bombs. Jeffro is a guard in the city dungeon. He would merely be a standard smartass, except that he's addicted to fist tech, and we can use that very well to our advantage. Kalkstein. This absent-minded alchemist seems nice, but it is obvious the scientific theories are a greater concern to him than the more prosaic aspects of life. The alchemist sometimes uses the services of witches. Berengar used to work for him. Kalkstein has dealings with Visima's criminal underworld. Strange company for an alchemist to keep. Indeed. But I believe he is innocent. So, Lambert, the young witch I met at Kaer Morhen, sure has a biting tongue. He's rude especially to Triss Merigold, who he addresses by her last name only. Leo is or was the youngest of Kaer Morhen's residents. He's not a full witcher, though he has completed his training. He was not subject to mutation. Leo comes across as a hot-headed whelp, but it is also kind-hearted and good. It appears that Leo is somewhat fascinated with me. He has heard the ballads about the White Wolf and now holds me in high regard. Leo was killed by the Professor, one of the leaders of the assault at Kaer Morhen. The boy was too hasty and inexperienced. I wasn't able to help him, even though I was right beside him. And we got Mikkel, this idiot. If you remember, Mikkel was the one who got us in the dungeon. Mikkel is widely respected because he has become a city guard, and that's quite a career for someone from the outskirts. He seems lazy and lecherous. He cares little about the problems of the outskirts and tends only to his own interests. By day, Mikkel stands guard at the gate to Vizima. And we got Odo. The wealthiest person in the outskirts is a grim drunkard who inherited a fortune from his brother. Odo is distrustful and stingy. He lives at the end of the village in a house surrounded by a fence with a high gate. Then the professor, obviously one of the main villains as well. Sorry guys. One of the leaders of the Salamander attack on Kaer Morhen was a man called the Professor, who seemed to be a cunning assassin. The other leader was a mage. It turned out that the assault on Kaer Morhen was not the Professor's first foul deed. The arrest warrant shows clearly that my opponent is a wanted man. The Professor was released from the dungeon right in front of my eyes. He mocked the law and proved to me just how powerful Salamandra is. Ramsmead. I met Ramsmead, the leader of the gang from the Temple Quarter. He didn't make a good impression. I think the feelings was mutual. Ramsmead sent his people to St. Lebioda's hospital. His bandits attacked me when I tried to interrogate the prisoner being kept there. Reverend Marleuf, detective. Marleuf, sorry if I'm butchering that name. I hired a detective named Raymond Marleuf to keep me search for Salamandra's leader. To help me search for Salamandra's leader. Raymond, the bitter and cynical man, refused to lift a finger until I paid him, but he also seemed to know a lot, including his craft. Reverend, the leader of the community in the outskirts, is a domineering priest of the eternal fire called a Reverend. His authority reaches well beyond the realms of the spiritual. People from the town and village in the outskirts do exactly what he says. The Reverend is a religious fanatic and hypocrite. He easily finds guilt where it doesn't exist, ignoring real offenses. I'm of the same opinion. The Reverend lived in the town, just left of the temple. During the day, he either prays or tends to the church. The witch Abigail was probably gone by the time I arrived at the Reverend's. Irreconcilable difference in is all I can call it. We argued and I had to kill the priest, obviously, and Odo and all the other guys too. Shani, well, now we're coming to the nicer characters. Soon after I arrived in the outskirts, I met Shani, an acquaintance from a long time ago in quite dramatic circumstances. Yeah, I thought I didn't know if I should mention it, but I find it quite interesting. Shani is a person from Geralt's past. She was a student at Oxenford and was supposed to give a letter to Geralt from Dandelion at a time where they were spied on a lot and they couldn't talk to each other openly. So what basically happened was that Dandelion suggested the meeting place and they met at night, and when he stepped into the room through the window he saw that Geralt and Shani were lying in the bed. Well, great stuff, right? But that's typical of Geralt. It's his way of doing things. I mean, obviously he has one true love, more or less, which is Yennefer, but he and Yennefer, they both don't just go around and reject any offer of sexual activities just because they have a real partner. I think for them it's just a way to relieve stress, to have fun, and that's kind of how it is seen in these in this world of The Witcher. At least from some of the main characters, such as Geralt and Yennefer and some others. Triss, for example, I know does not like to go around have sex a lot because she is more, I don't know, kind of the only with one person type. She's not the one-night stand type, but Geralt and Shani, yeah, they had a past. They had a one-night stand and a little adventure together where they tried to find some people following Geralt and Ciri. It's very interesting that it is mentioned there. Shani is completely devoted to medicine, her passion, and she has plenty to do in the outskirts, so there was no time for small talk. I got the impression that this sensible, intelligent girl likes me a lot. Yeah, she liked you a lot in the books as well. I dragged Shani into the business with Salamandra, and although the girl was in danger, it all ended well. Shani finished what she had to do in the outskirts and returned to Vizima, to her house in the Temple Quarter. Shani works at St. Lebioda's hospital during the day and spends evenings at her lodgings in the Temple Quarter. She hates it when people disturb her at work, so it's best to visit her later in the day. Yes, it is. Siegfried. This guy we just met, and I don't think he's a character who was ever mentioned in the books, but I like him a lot. That's one good example of characters which are established in the games only and which are really good. Secret of Denizela. Siegfried of Denizela. A knight of the Order of the Flaming Rose is an idealist who adheres to the Order's rules but is not devoid of common sense. Polite and open, he is unlike many of his brothers from the Order in that he is not prejudiced. He is undeniably courageous and demonstrated this when he descended alone into the sewers to fight the cockatrice. Siegfried and I defeated the cockatrice together. The knight proved both polite and a skilled swordsman. Then we got Thaler, the fence. In the Temple Quarter of Vizima lives a fence named Thaler. He has many things that belong to Berengar and also deals in illegal goods. The fence is a repulsive man and uses particularly foul language. During the day he can be found in his store, which is located in a house in Temple Quarter. Thaler put Berengar's Witcher equipment up for sale. I wonder how he acquired these things. For a fence and a thug, Thaler has surprisingly extensive contracts, not only with thieves, but also among the affluent. The fence circle of influence is really wide. It also includes city guards. Yeah, maybe we should talk to him again. Maybe he can help us get around some of this stuff. I don't think he is connected with Salamandra because the city guards fear and respect him too much for that, in my opinion. And they have dealings with him, which means unless the city guards are always dealing with Salamandra, they seem to be working against them rather than with them. Triss Marigold, yeah, obviously. Along with me and other witches, Triss fought in the defense of Kaer Morhen. The sorcerer stood against the mysterious mage, one of the leaders of the assault. She was injured and lost consciousness. Ironically, Triss is allergic to magic and she can only be administered natural healing potions. Triss is my friend. She saw me die and my return to the world of the living surprised her. Triss is a sorceress, one of the most influential and talented of her kind. She has numerous powerful friends and she knows the Kaer Morhen witches. She is one of the few people who know the way to the fortress. I have a feeling Triss likes me a lot. After Leo's funeral, the sorceress teleported to Vizima. She decided to use her extensive contacts and search for information on Salamandra. Triss promised to find me as soon as I arrive in Vizima. Which doesn't seem to be a promise she held, considering I am in Vizima a lot of days now, or maybe even a week or so. And she didn't contact me yet. Vaska. Vaska is the leader of the brickmakers who live in the swamp. She talks in riddles and seems a bit crazy. She seems to worship the water lords, probably Vodyanoi, and is quite touchy when it comes to them. Yeah, obviously, religion is always a subject of very considerable amount for people, especially for villagers who don't normally think beyond their the dealings of their own village. Religion is a very touchy subject in many matters, and you should, if you ever stumble upon someone who is a true believer, who is really passionate also about his religion, don't try to mock him for it. It's just, first of all, of course, it represents a lack of respect and everything, and that's not right. But on the other hand, you don't know how far you can go with someone you don't know that well. So Vaska seems to be very touchy about her religions, so should not be going to mock her. Same counts for the real world. Vesemir, our old master. Vesemir is the oldest and most experienced witcher. possibly older than Kaer Morhen itself. Well, that's an exaggeration, but he spends each winter in the fortress and sets off on the road when spring comes, just like all the others. Despite his age, Vesemir is robust and lively. Many youngsters could envy him in his health. An excellent fencer, he was the one who taught me swordsmanship. He has raised many witches, including me. His disciples treat him like a father. Leo was probably the old witch's last protégé. The boy's death shocked him. He was one of the few to survive the assault on Kaer Morhen. He is well aware of the magnitude of the hatred some people feel for witches. Then we got Vesna, a barmaid from the tavern in the outskirts. Vesna is quite a determined girl. She sells food and alcohol. Yeah, not an important character. But this one is, and a real badass at that, at least he seems to be. Vincent Mace, the captain of the city guard, released the professor, one of the most wanted criminals of Temeria. Not really happy about that, Vincent. But okay. Vincent is the captain of the city guard and the main executor of the king's law in the temple quarter. Vincent Mace was one of the few who knew that I was going into the sewers to kill the cockatrice and that I could only leave by the exit where I encountered the Salamander bandits. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. He might have set that trap. People say that it's impossible to get in touch with Mace at night. After dark, the captain vanishes into thin air, which is also mysterious. But we saw he's trying to uncover Salamandra deals, so might just be him working undercover. Sultan Jive, one of our oldest friends as well. I helped the dwarf being attacked by racists. He recognized me as an old friend of his. The dwarf's name is Sultan Jive. He claims to have witnessed my death years ago in Rivia. Sultan seems to be reasonable and pragmatic. He takes the world with a grain of salt and sees irony in most things. Just like other non-humans, he also seems vexed by the racist atmosphere in Temeria. Sultan managed to get to the temple quarter. The dwarf was happy to see me again. Yeah, he was. Now we're moving on to the locations a little bit, anyone being guilty, so